Speeding Bulletin. My name is Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com. This is all the Superman related news there was during the week January 9th to January 15th, 2009. No movie news to speak of this week, but it's been a big week for news about the TV series Smallville and its future. First off, the Windy City Times published an interview with Michael Rosenbaum discussing his career and upcoming work. In the section where they talk about Smallville, Rosenbaum comments that he's open to the idea of returning to conclude the show if he's required, but with the proviso that he doesn't have to shave his head. The Sun Sentinel published an article regarding the status of shows on the CW. The network's entertainment president Dawn Ostroff declined to definitively say Smallville is over after this season, but she indicated this is the direction the CW is leaning to. The producers have been told to create a season ender that could also serve as a series ender. IGN.com also spoke to Dawn Ostroff regarding a possible 9th season of Smallville. She said, "We've been really pleased with the show and would love to see it back. However, official verdict probably won't come down until the upfronts in May, when the networks unveil their new fall schedules." The CW released 3 further video clips from this week's episode of Smallville. The first 2 clips from the episode, titled Legion, show Clark's first meeting with the 3 members of the Legion of Superheroes, while the third video clip shows Brainiac in Chloe's body confronting Davis Bloom with the truth about his origins. The New York Times also published an article about the Legion episode and its writer Jeff Johns. TVGuide.com posted an interview titled Doom with a View, where they spoke with Sam Witwer about the Legion episode. Newsarama.com did a one-on-one interview with Jeff Johns, who wrote the script, and VoicesFromKrypton.com posted an interview with Jeff Johns and Smallville executive producer Darren Swimmer. On top of all that, the CW released 2 Season 8 promotional cast photos, one of Tom Welling and the other of Erica Durance. And so, with the much anticipated Legion episode having aired in the US on Thursday, January 15th, look for our Smallville episode summary and reviews in the next few days. Iowa Public Radio aired a feature titled Superman's House Doomed on January 5th, alerting people to the fact that the house where George Reeves was born is likely to be demolished. You can listen to the radio feature at the Iowa Public Radio website. In their regular Q&A forum with Dan Didio, Newsarama.com's 20 Answers 1 Question included 2 questions very relevant to Superman fans. The first was regarding the fact that the Legion will be spinning off into Adventure Comics, and the other was about how much Trinity will tie into the larger DC universe when it's all over. ComicBookResources.com caught up with writer Andrew Kreisberg to ask him about his upcoming run on the 12-issue miniseries Superman World of New Krypton. He said, "The book will follow Superman and 100,000 new Kryptonians led by Allura as he tries to figure out his place in Kryptonian society. Where the society resides is yours to know on March 4th. MSNBC.com picked up on an article published on Newsarama.com last week regarding non-white Kryptonians finally appearing in Superman comics, particularly Superman 683. Wizard Universe caught up with writer Jeff Johns to ask him about his upcoming comic book stories. In reference to Superman, Johns talks briefly about what's ahead for the Man of Steel after the New Krypton saga. He said, "There's a bunch of repercussions outside of the New Krypton storyline, I think all of which will be very clear when the story wraps up in January." ComicBookResources.com spoke with writer Greg Rucker about his upcoming run on Action Comics, how he became involved with the book, how the Superman family of books will mesh together, and the history of Nightwing and Flamebird. Superman comic books we reviewed this week included Superman Supergirl Maelstrom number 5, the final issue of this miniseries, which was reviewed by Michael Bailey, who rated it a 2 out of 5, saying, "This final issue did nothing to make me like this series at all." Trinity number 32 was once again rated a 1 out of 5 by our own trinity of reviewers, Jeffrey, Barry and Neil. Adam DeChannel reviewed Supergirl Cosmic Adventures in the 8th grade number 2, saying, "This has quickly become a favourite," and he gave it a 4 out of 5. Being that it's set in Metropolis and Superman will have a presence in the 6-issue miniseries, Neal Bailey reviewed Black Lightning Year 1 number 1, giving it a 5 out of 5, saying, "Damn fine character work top to bottom." Superman comics and other items shipping this week from January 14th include Action Comics 873, Final Crisis number 6, Super Friends number 11, Trinity number 33, and the Superman vs. Darkseid statue. In other news, Wizard Entertainment announced this week that it has postponed its 2009 Wizard World Los Angeles show and cancelled the Wizard World Texas show due to the current economic climate. SciFiWire.com posted an article reporting on a new book titled Secret Identity: The Fetish Art of Superman's co-creator Joe Shuster. Apparently during the 1950s, when Siegel and Shuster were on the outs with DC Comics, Shuster was unable to get any comic book assignments and had to look elsewhere for work. He took to drawing racy images for Knights of Horror, a fetish magazine sold surreptitiously in Times Square sex shops. Superman homepage reviewer James Lance continues reviewing story arcs from the 1940s Superman radio series. This week he examined the Hunger Inc. story, which saw Superman aiding efforts to stop world hunger while defeating a black market operation. And that's all the Superman related news there was for the week January 9th to January 15th. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
How much is a comic book? You've, I'm sure, read the editorials from some long-witted windbag all across the internet where someone basically comes on and says, well, in my day, a comic book cost a nickel and a lump of coal. And I got that lump of coal by 50 hours of hard work. Or, that lump of coal cost me nothing, you know. Like, when long ago oil was plentiful and it was very easy and unregulated to get cheap paper. Now we have high paper costs, high oil costs for distribution, and a comic book. If it's a good comic book, you'll notice that the good ones, they jack up the prices, costs about $4. And a normal comic, or even a normal crappy comic, costs about $3. Whereas, like, I don't know, I'd say when I started getting comics, they were $1.25. I could get, I don't know, 8 for $10, and that was a good bunch of reading. Now I go to the comic book store and I get like 3 or 4 comics and maybe a trade, and it costs me $30, $35 usually, which is why I don't go as much. It's pricing me out of the market, and I'm poor, but I'm not poor. I mean, I'm getting up off my feet. Sadly, this to me indicates that the comic book industry is going to go largely digital. People are always going to want a copy, and people are always going to pay for a prestige copy, but I think at this rate, there's no way the market can keep up with these prices if they keep gouging us like this. Even the stalwart fanboy who buys 50 issues a month is going to feel this pinch, and then that can only mean bad things for the industry, which I'll follow up on in my next video. Bailey Planet is sponsored by Gibbo.